Hello, and welcome back to After the Table, a TTRPG podcast. 'Tis I, your favorite vampy bitch, who likes putting vampire characters in very, very awkward positions for the lulz. Shelly Von Miller! Bing! Today we're talking to someone who knows all about the putting vampires through hell. They are a phenomenal voice actor, a TTRPG award-winning TTRPG personality, and I've been following them on the social medias for a while, and I love the shit that they do. Welcome to the table, Vyn Vox. Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody.
Oh my god. So for those who are not familiar with your work, who are you? What you do?
I'm Vyn Vox. I'm a voice actor, tabletop performer, award-winning. I do a lot of things, a lot of vampire things. I've called myself the CEO of VTM AP, which is true because all I do is that game, if not breathe.
Speaking of VTM Brain Rot, which I have, because we try to play weekly, but sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
I'm part of a coterie, so it's one of those things. Why do you think we have the rot of the Vampire the Masquerade? For those who don't know what VTM is, it's Vampire the Masquerade, brought to you by World of Darkness.
Yeah, sponsored Dark Pack, everything. Yeah.
Yes. Why do you think we have the brain rot? Is it because of vampires, or is it because of something else?
It's definitely because of vampires. I was a Twilight girly. Helsing, Trinity Blood, all the vampire media, like in middle school, high school. Then it kind of lulled for a little bit, and then one random point, my friend said, "Oh, you remind me of a Toreador." I'm like, "What's a Toreador?" And then I started reading the wiki, and then I skipped a very important dinner with my undergraduate class of 2019 to sit in this room and play my first session of VTM. That'll be 6 years ago in May.
That's amazing. I love that. You're like, I skipped an undergraduate dinner because I wanted to play vampires instead. I will say my brain rot, whenever we're connecting with media, I will fully admit I'm probably a lot older than you. So the original Interview with the Vampire,
Yep.
Vampire Chronicles, I read those at a very young age. I was a freshman in high school. Reading the Vampire Chronicles. I probably should not have.
Yeah.
And then let's see what else. I did read Twilight. I was a little bit older whenever Twilight came out, but also what else was out there?
Underworld.
Underworld.
Blade.
Blade. I love Blade. People hate Blade 3. I love Blade 3.
I can't remember. I remember the Blood Rave and the weird
Blood
CGI
Rave
eyes.
Yes. Blood Rave is Blade 1, but then Blade 3 is the one with Ryan Reynolds and Parker Posey. And yeah, it's
goodness.
A lot. It's a lot. I also watched.
That's a phrase already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds and Parker Posey. Oh, and it had Triple H from WWE in it, and he had a little Pomeranian. That was also one of those vampire dogs. A lot.
I remember the vampire dogs. Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but there was a Blade TV show in the early 2000s.
No.
That I watched. I think it lasted maybe a season or two. It was good. It was interesting. Because I was so used to movie Blade that I was just like, I know for a fact that this isn't the same. this doesn't feel the same. But it's cool, but it's not. I don't know.
We love our junk food.
That part. Have you watched Nosferatu? Speaking of vampire stuff.
I haven't. I want to. It's on the list.
Well,
know.
it's now on digital. We're not sponsored. I'm just saying. It's now on digital.
I mean, as of recording, we're not sponsored, but who knows? Maybe we can turn it around soon. Yeah.
If you want to come at me with all your vampire sponsorships, please. I will talk about vampires all the time. No, but yeah, I loved it. It was interesting, but I also was just like, okay. All right. This is a little intense. I also did not see the original Nosferatu. I've seen like the clips of like the creepy dude,
yeah. I think that counts though.
So, okay, so what came first? Voice acting or TTRPGs?
They happened around the same time. Honestly, what predates both of them, which brings them together, is just role-playing in general. Like, I was role-playing in the forums, play-by-post, Gaia Online, all of that since, like, middle school.
Play-by-post, but no, play-by-post, yeah, no, I was, it was for a book series that we no longer talk about because, fuck turfs.
Okay, but, bestie, we might have been on the same forum.
Well, probably not, because
I don't know, it was small and I don't know.
Well, I'm 37, so this would have been whenever I was in high school. So, like,
okay, but I was on the site in like middle school. Well, that's 10 years ago. It was an old. We have to talk about it later.
Yes. I can't remember what it. Oh, 713 Vault.
Dang it, Hex
Vault
RPG.
713. Oh, okay. So there you go. There you go. Yeah. I found it whenever it was called something else, and it was the whole thing. I also, on the note of play-by-post, there was a Talamasca play-by-post RP type of situation whenever the Queen of the Damned movie came out. It was not sponsored by the Queen of the Damned movie. It just was very popular. I don't know how I found it. I was just like,
oh, that would have been so good.
I'm living my life.
Yeah.
It was interesting, to say the least. I was like, the RP goes real hard. This was like online LARP, hardcore online LARP. And I was like, this is cool, but like
back
weird.
when Vampire Freaks used to be like an actual forum, not a store or something. Yeah.
Oh gosh, is that a store?
It's a store now. Yeah.
The more you know. Writing that down. Speaking of LARPs, you recently went to your first Darkness Emergent. One, and I think you're going to the LA one?
I am.
I'm nosy. I am on socials, man. I will say this right now. I'm like, I gotta do research real quick. Boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. But how did you get into LARPing? Was it because of Vampire, or were you doing LARPing elsewhere?
Oh no, it was because of Vampire. I was like, at the very beginning of like my nerddom, I was like, well, at least I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. Well, at least I don't LARP. If I don't LARP within the next 5 seconds. So that's what happened.
I am not pretending.
Yes, if I am not a vampire by this date, it's over. And I found Darkness Emergent. They're like, my friend's going to the Chicago event. And I was like, well, I can try to swing the Chicago one. And I was like, eh. And I was like, well, the next one's in Vegas. And then I happened to get like a vacation deal for it. So I was like, well, I guess I'll do this little timeshare bit and then I'll go. Which ended up being a great time, to the point that like, I guess I have to, this is my life now. Maybe once or twice a year, blow maybe half a band, to fly across the country and pretend to be a vampire.
I saw those ticket prices because I was like, oh, I'll go to the LA one. Those tickets, one, were sold out already. And two, because I'm expecting to come into some money, I was just like, oh, I'll get like the one that includes the hotel. Oh, I'll pay for that because I don't want to look for a hotel and then, have to pay for an Uber. It's all in the same ecosystem. I looked at the price and I said, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, let me count the remaining tickets and see if I can get like a sugar sire or something, because those prices. Yeah. But it includes so much, and like there's a lot going on at these events. Like, not only is there going to be a night LARP, there's going to be a day LARP too of Hunter the Reckoning. And there's like so many different little events. I think there's a phase something that's going on, and there's going to be panels and events. It's going to be a whole thing, and it's being considered like their biggest By Night Studios event so far, which I agree.
Yeah, because I mean, so far that they've, I mean, as of this recording, they've confirmed Alex, who's reprising his role as Jasper, and then B.Day Walters is reprising his role as the Baron. So it's just like, okay, so
like, are we LA by night right now? Like,
are we just getting an LA by night like reunion?
Are
like,
we?
Are we LA by night? Are we? Oh my goodness. No, I wanted to go to the Chicago one because the actual play, the vampire actual play, you should totally go, not you, but the internet, go listen to it. It's called Endless Elegy, Second City Blues. We're a Chicago coterie, and I'm like, I would totally just love to go there because one, I've never been to Chicago, and two, it'd be like really cool. And I could be like, look, I could go to the house. I literally took an actual house that's in Chicago and made it my character's house, and I was like, look, it's the, I'm just gonna stand outside somebody's random house and be like, look, it's the house that I say is ours. It's the coterie house, guys.
To be fair, that's what made Vegas special for me, because I had a home game based in Vegas. I was like, oh my god, this is where such and such happened. This is where such and such happened.
You're like, yeah.
Like the dots suddenly made sense.
Yeah, I feel like that's a TTRPG thing in general, but like making characters, especially in the vampire or hunter or, you know, werewolf spectrum of games, one day we'll get mage and changeling in V5. I'm staring at you, World of Darkness. But like basing it in a place that you know, and going and being like, look, and just also doing, I googled like famous houses in Chicago, and I was just like, I was like, wait, what's his face was around the time that my character was born and blah blah blah. Oh, there is a house here. Like, just doing that kind of research, is that something you do with your own character creation whenever it comes to you're like,
it really depends on the age of the character. For example, I had a ministry who was born and raised around like the 1960s, and I put him up in like North Georgia, Appalachia. So I was like, well, when was homeschooling a thing? When were trailers invented? And just trying to make sure things were accurate. And I had like a whole, it's funny because he was a ministry, but before even being a priest, he came from a lot of snake pastors. So I was like, this is funny. It can get tragic really quick. And it did. But yeah, I think that's the most fun part. And I kind of got like the need for RP research from my Danganronpa days. So that's where that came from. I was dedicated to the cause.
You're like, I was baptized in this. I will have to.
Yes,
please. I think, yeah, as somebody who's trying to write a World of Darkness setting in my hometown, like in my home city, I'm just like, how, because it's going to be a love letter to where I grew up. It's like one of those things, like, how do I make this like not weird?
See, that's the point. You have to, like, it's already
true.
Yeah,
true. For those who want to get into vampire LARPing or just like the World of Darkness LARPing, what would you suggest?
Just do it, first of all. Don't like wait for a certain time. If you see it, when you can do it financially responsibly, that's what. Second thing, take friends. I don't think I would have had half the time I had if it wasn't for like the amount of people who knew me and would be able to interact with me without me being nervous. I was very shy, in and out of character. even though I had made someone who was very bombastic and vivacious, but it was with like the people I knew. Or if I needed something to do, I can just go say, I wonder what such and such doing, and go that way, and then find a whole other thing to be involved with. Or just watch people with these amazing costumes and characters and convictions just play it out like a movie.
That's amazing. You're kind of just like, oh, I'm a character, but I'll just stand here and look.
Yeah.
I think that's, that's really cool. I love that. Now do I really want to go to LA?
Listen, the influencer is influencing.
Hold on. When is this? When is this?
It's May 22nd through the 26th at the Biltmore Hotel.
There you go. Darkness Emergent. Sponsor them. Sponsor it. No, that's amazing. That's so tempting. It's so tempting. I guess on that, not even on that note, jeez. But how did you get into the voice acting space? Because you said you started TTRPGs around the same time. Like, how did that? Was that while you were in undergrad, or were you like? You're like,
kind of,
sort of. Thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I've always thought it was really cool. Like, I was a full-blown weeb, like early Funimation days, and like watching the behind the scenes and like the bloopers and whatnot. Like when Orion Host, the dub came out, that's how long, like way back, Walden Books, buying all the volumes. But a lot of like being on Tumblr and seeing like voice actors of today, seeing their old Homestuck content, that kind of got me started like doing fan dubs and whatnot. And I kind of did it on and off because I was just in admiration. And then I don't know at what point I was on Fiverr. Don't go on Fiverr, first of all. Don't love yourself. But I had got like a little gig with my little blue Yeti at same wall facing, and did a video game, which was crazy to think about now because quality-wise, but I just kept rolling and rolling into it. And my first like professional XLR mic was because of a casting call for an audio drama, and they said, we'll pay you in equipment. And they did, and ended up sounding really good. And then push comes to shove, like I'm just using transition words. Another audio drama was in, they couldn't pay us, but they offered to do like demo reels and whatnot. So I got my first reel done for free, scripting, directing, all that by the same person. And somehow or another, my dream agency, Atlas Talent, hey Atlas, offered to me work freelance a whole year before I was even considering like applying with them. So now I have Atlas, ACM, and then Citizen's Goal is my management, and living the dream.
You're like, eventually I will apply for SAG.
Yes. One day, SAG eligible. Ooh.
La la la. That is amazing. I need to find that gig. Paying me in equipment. What? Come on.
Yeah.
Because that's amazing. Because I mean, no shade to you, Blue Yeti. I'm staring right at you. Hello. But I mean, it would. I think that could be. I look. I'll fully admit it. I've applied for a few voice acting jobs in my lifetime. I think it does help if you have a good reel and a good microphone, or at least the ability to make it or fake it before you make it in a way.
Oh yeah, it's been a lot of faking it first.
You're like, oh, I have to. Okay, let me just cover myself with a blanket and hope to God that nothing.
A blanket, like a little booth.
Oh my
goodness. Cardboard.
Yeah, I got one of those little stand-up booths for mine, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna make this happen eventually. I also have a dog that barks, so
yeah, that'll do it.
Getting him to not bark randomly or scratch my door or anything like that is a whole thing. Do you have any advice for people who want to get into the voice acting space? Other than like, yeah, maybe invest a little bit, but like,
Yeah.
outside of that.
You can invest in different ways. It can be your time. It can be just studying. I know people say this a lot, it's voice acting, but it really is. It's just acting. If you have a voice, you can do it. If you know what you want to get into, just start looking at those materials. If you are watching TV, turn on the subtitles, mute the audio, and then try acting it yourself and then going back and see how those inflections actually came out. I don't have a theater degree. I don't have any specializations. I took a couple classes, and I still take classes. Red Side Studios is a really great place that has very influential people who are knowledgeable, and it's very cheap. I know classes can be very expensive and can be a hurdle, but there's also a lot of voiceover communities that do like just reads or classes and whatnot for like next to nothing or a donation. There's a lot of resources out there. You just have to just take the time and look for them. Literally, I want to be a voiceactor.com. If you want to start anywhere, that is an amazing resource and a great jumping off point, which is again, I want to be a voiceactor.com. Because I used to say I want to be, is I want to. So
you gotta be like, I'm not say wanna, I want to be. I promise. Want. I have to enunciate my
exactly. You have to look at your diction. It's I
my
want.
Diction. Allocation. Hello. Oh my goodness. I think the reason why and this is just to go on that, I think the reason why a lot of people in the TTRPG space get into voice acting, or even vice versa, is because, I mean, you're doing half the work anyways.
Yeah.
Because whether people like it or not, whether it's your home game or an AP, I mean, you're acting. You're telling a story, and which is acting in general. You are just, there's sets and lights and, or microphones. You're telling a story, and I think a lot of people in the TTRPG space are like, I have this skill now because I make funny voices whenever I make characters, and so I can just be like, I guess
do something about it. Yeah, make some money.
Do something about it. try. Just apply. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, you had yours made. For those who are in the TTRPG space, what's the best way to make a reel? This is selfish, by the way. This is purely selfish.
No, you're good.
Asking this. It's like, how do you make your reel based off of your APs? Because I know you have an AP reel. You should all go see it, by the way. It's amazing. But there's also, do you take things from your AP reel and put it into your VA reel, or do you just try to separate the two?
That is a good question. Actually, I do get my reels commissioned. They're like scripts that were made for me in the archetypes I want to portray that like I'm most successful at. I try to like focus on range and different archetypes. So like my most recent one I think is a character reel, and it starts with the drill sergeant and then goes straight to like a little kid. Like to go, hey, look at how like breakneck this can be, and then it ends with like a sultry villain, and right before it's some mad racing car, and before that is some like country twangy voice, which because I'm from the South United States, so that's like my natural accent. But in terms of like a tabletop influencing my voiceover, they go hand in hand for two reasons. One, it's great improv. When my mentor told me that I should put improv skills on my resume because I play TTRPGs, I was like, no, not really. But until I did like my first dubbing gig, I was asked to talk for 15 minutes straight, and it just for about anything. So I talked about my first vampire game and my character all the way up until that point. And I could have gone another 30 minutes at least. Or when a character doesn't necessarily have lines, I just need to ad-lib, I can break a character up like that. So that does work. The second thing is, when it comes to auditions, you shouldn't take too long on designing a character and placing yourself. So when I see a certain description, I'm like, oh, that's this character, and I just go as that character. Like, sure, it's someone else entirely, but their traits are so similar. It's so easy to pick up and like, okay, they this, that, and the other. I can do this kind of range and go with the flow. Does it work? Sometimes. Uh, but it makes it easier and you're not sweating and like overthinking an audition. So yeah, people who say it's not acting, it really is. I agree. It is acting because you are telling a story. You're just trying to be convincing when it comes to voiceover.
Speaking of telling stories, what kind of stories do you like to tell? Whether it is as a storyteller in the storyteller or GM spot, or as a player, what kind of stories do you like to tell? It could be vampire related. It can just be any TTRPG. Like, what kind of?
As a player, I just like drama. I like making problems. Maybe for the table, maybe for whoever we're like speaking against. Unfortunately. But with that, you will have to, of course, just negotiate and make sure everybody's okay with certain things. I would never take my home game energy to an AP because those are completely different people and different like levels of trust. Not to say one is better than the other, but you need to respect your friends and you need to respect your coworkers, which can be both sometimes depending on like where you're at. But it's better safe than sorry.
That's amazing advice. And I didn't even think about it that way. That, I mean, yeah, in AP, these are your colleagues. These are, this is a job, essentially. You might not be getting paid for it, but like, yeah, this is a job you signed up for. Sometimes or forced into, and signed up for, or you forced, in my case.
And sometimes you are paid. Like,
hey. I have not had that job yet, but if anybody wants to hire me, I need to update my reel though. My AP reel at least. It's bad. It's mostly I just need to re-edit it and do stuff. Oh, gosh, wow, that's a lot to think about. Wow, yeah, colleague. Job. Yeah, because, I mean, especially in smaller APs, you take on the role, sometimes you take on additional roles on top of being either the GM or the player. Like, I've taken it upon myself to do the social media for some of the APs that I run, or, like, I'm part of. It's like, yeah. Or in some cases, I'm doing everything. If I'm the GM, I'm the producer, I'm the GM, I'm doing social media management, I'm doing pre-production, all that stuff.
Bless your heart.
I guess, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. What are... Okay, this is going to be the gotcha question in a way. Favorite clan. It also just actually yeah, it could be favorite clan, or it could be favorite archetype that you like to play in World of Darkness.
Okay, I guess you did that is my gotcha. I have 3, and they're for 3 different reasons. My very first clan I played was a Toreador. I was influenced. Declan Yancey has see, I just get emotional just thinking about him because I miss him so much. It was my first soiree, and I learned so much by playing this character because I did some stupid shit. My favorite clan overall, I will just go ahead and admit it, that is Thin Bloods, Duskborn. They're my favorite, like, clan. And then Malkavians are, I think, my most played, and they go in tangent because I will say if my favorite to play or will be a Thin Blood with Clan Curse, and Clan Curse being Malkavian. Some of my favorites have been that. My favorite, like, archetype, I love gremlins. I play a lot of high wits, high intelligence, investigation, 3 or 4, insight, right up there, because you you roll wits insight so many times in that game just to notice things. And if I'm gonna have one roll I'm gonna hinge on, it's that. I'm trying to round out all my clan plays. I haven't played a Banu, a Samitsi, a Ravno Salubri, and I want to say Lasombra. Like, after that, I've played all of them. As clan bingo, done. But I think that's it. But I think, like, the high-tech gremlin, I can play across the current V5 splats, which I know I've done with Vampire a lot, and I've done during Hunter. Like, that's what I hinge on in Hunter, with, like, the disc jockey and Inquisitive with, oh, I love the envy drive. Like, the fact of, like, a kind who wants to become supernatural. It's good.
And it's like one of those things, it's like, oh, we're not supposed to want this? But I wanna.
Yeah.
Piggies, I will be better. And then you're like, oh, now I'm locked out because they hate everyone, not just vampires. Shit. Damn. No, my first character in Vampire that I played was a hacker Bruja. So
Ooh,
I get
that's
it.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, she was very much like, and then she turned into a she was just like, I just want to make sure that everybody has, I get permission from everyone before I suck them dry. And I'm like, God damn it, why am I playing this? This is a Bruja.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm playing a Ventru, who is the Primogen.
Listen, I'm playing 2 Venture right now. I don't even know how I got here.
You're like, I'm just here. But no,
Yeah.
she's like, I love her so much. I will talk about Ashley every freaking day of my life if I have to. Because I love her. It's the same with my first D&D character. I can talk about her all the time. Mm-hmm. It's just, yeah. This is how I know I'm down bad for those damn bitches. And yes, you can cuss on this. I have commissioned art for them.
Listen, I have folders on fold. I have merch.
Same. I don't have merch, but I have so much commissioned for my D&D character, but I dropped a hefty amount for a portrait made. I'm going to show you because I have it right here.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
oh, it's so good.
And it's supposed to be the last picture that was ever taken of her before she was turned. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Whenever I gave that to the artist that I commissioned for and she's just like, God, I love TTRPGers. They give me so much information. I'm like, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh,
yeah.
That's bonkers. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, so this is supposed to be the last picture that was taken on her birthday, just hours before she was turned, by the man who was seducing her for months, trying to get her money.
Oh, darn. Those pesky little licks.
Those pesky Ventru. Yeah, no, that's one thing. Oh, God, I feel like that's a TTRPG thing in general, is just talking about the characters you love that you wish you could just... I'm like, can I just be in this world forever? Can I just talk about them forever? I think this is why I created this podcast, is so people can just talk about their characters forever.
You know, I was thinking, the merch thing is the thing that tops my little love. Actually, that's a lie. I have a voice actor for Declan. I had a casting call, so there's someone who canonically is the voice of my PC.
Oh my god! So it's not you. You're like no.
I need to let this happen somehow.
That is amazing.
So it was so much fun, like listening to takes of like, oh, but then I heard that's my baby.
That's my baby. That's amazing. Oh god, don't give me ideas, because now I'm like, I could just,
Yeah.
I could do this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of voice acting stuff and vampire, for those who don't know, and you should probably go check out their TikTok, you do some amazing VA work just based on a few like words of dialogue or just like an archetype whenever it comes to the vampire just like clans. How did that come about? Like, were you just like, I'm just doing this to like kind of like work through like what I would do as a character, or was this something like you're like, this is how I'm gonna do for like my real, what is it, what
content is just good practice. It's good content, that's what it is. I was like, oh wait, these have words and these words belong to my favorite thing. Let me go call up some buddies. Hey, you guys want to do this, that line, and the other? And then just mash them together and it being great. Honestly, the Thin Blood character is just me, like, extra snarky. I just don't, there really isn't much beyond that. I love them as the butt of jokes because I just be silly and modern, which is one of my favorite things about them because they're so underestimated, which I can just do a TED Talk about that later. Especially that that one in particular about like blood sorcery, like the Banu Hakim and the Tremere. Shout out to Hamna and Joe. They were my Banu and Tremere, and I was like, wait, what music can I put in this? Here comes Tyler. The microwave, it's like my favorite bit ever. But yeah, it's just off the head, run of the mill. But I have a lot of fun because those are seldom those two loves come together. I would love to be in another VTM based audio drama if anybody's listening. Port Saga was a goddamn delight, and I've listened to it way more times than I should have, but it's one of my favorite like VTM audio dramas.
Or VTM video games. Hunter video game, werewolf video game, you know.
Wow, Hunter video game would be great. That would go hard though.
That would go so hard. I don't know why that just happened. Edit this out, man. Oh god. Oh god. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what that just happened. Speaking of World of Darkness things, you were a part of a new chronicle called Cradle of Liberty with the community manager as the ST, Huddy. It's set in a post-VTM Swansong Boston.
Yep.
How are you like playing at Tremere?
Marius, my dear Marius, she's so tired all the time. They feel like they have the brain cell at all times, which isn't the truth. They are just very young and very haughty. I love like playing them. Yeah, a Tremere who's full of themselves. Wow,
Go figure.
groundbreaking.
A Tremere that thinks they're better than everybody else.
Whoa.
Oh wow. That's a whole nother tangent.
Yeah, please. I think, honestly, half tangent. Venture and Tremere, I have found myself strangely enjoying. Like, starting, I didn't expect myself to like them. I like them more as NPCs and antagonists, especially Venture. Fuck Venture, but fuck Venture, you know? But it's so great. And I'm thinking a little bit harder because not only am I like trying to navigate Camarilla politics, also like the coterie itself, and they have a very relationship with their sire, who is an NPC in Swansong. You'll see, but it's been a great time, and it's a great table. And I think I did lie when I say, "Oh, I don't let my home game cross over to my AP." No, that table is freaky enough to go hand in hand. Like, I do use that clicker a couple of times, and it's so fucking funny.
That is so funny. Speaking of the three trifecta, whenever it comes to the vampire politics, Anarch, Camarilla, or Sabat?
My heart, I feel like the politically correct answer is Anarch, but I love a Camarilla game. I love the backstabbing. I love the social combat. Just clawing your way to Primogen or trying to claw away from the oppressive system that is the Cam and the Ivory Tower. I love it. Like, I've lost a character to the tower trying to move over into an Anarch game, and they didn't make it. It was just painful in a delightful way.
You're like, damn it.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, they sacrificed themselves so that the other two could make it over permanently.
A Camarillo with a heart. Can't get out of here. Get out. I'm
listen, no. It was a whole lot of mess.
Wait,
yeah.
What clan were they in?
They were a thin blood pretending to be a rat mouse. They lied all the way through. Nobody, in-game, they did not know that they were lying about being a raven. And they just happened to be embraced, and they just got tossed over on the other side to be taken care of. Eventually they got taken care of. So yeah, they were not even a month old. That's how drastic it was.
Damn.
But they say that in lore that fledglings don't last that long, which is, you don't really play that out often, but when you hit the reality of it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Especially, like, in some situations. Yeah, you're like, oh. Let me just dodge all this. What are some APs that you're, like, looking forward to listening to, or that you enjoyed, like, so far? It could be vampire, it could be other.
I want to make sure I say this right. Like, I'm gonna go to my friend's page before I even say it wrong, which I might have it right anyway, but I'm gonna double check. A little keyboard asthma. I had it right. The Wildfire Club on Tino Tales. It is the Life is Strange based AP. It's gonna be wild. That table is incredible.
Oh, I'm excited. I think I saw something about that recently.
They're doing character announcements right now.
Okay, that's why. I was like, hold on a minute. I think I saw something about that. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Well, plug your shit. Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me at Vyn Vox VA on the social. Yeah, that too. Vyn Vox VA on the socials, except Blue Sky. That is vynvox.com. Vynvox.com is actually also my actual website. You can find my demo reels, my resume, my studio specs. You can contact me or my people if you want to, go through and all that. Like we said, the Cradle of Liberty, the Swansong AP is coming out relatively soon, sometime in March. I have another vampire thing coming out. We're still in the trenches of that, and who knows where I'll pop up next.
Maybe Endlessology. Maybe we can get you on Endlessology.
Oh my god, that would be so cool.
It's a cam game, so I hope you're prepared.
Listen, I already said it. I love a cam. Listen, my dream, I want to be a herald or a sire, or just to come in and be an NPC that causes problems and dip and or killed.
You know what? I will make a note of that and send that to my storyteller.
Okay.
Just yes. Perfect. With all that being said, make sure to check out Vyn everywhere. All the links down below. Hello, you should do that. You should You should also hire them.
Yeah, that would be great.
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Shelly Von Miller, to include Fourth Wall memberships and Patreon, where you can get early access to all the episodes of this wonderful podcast and behind the scenes of other content that I make, to include Ashley Dame stuff, who is my Ventrue Permagen in Endless Elegy Second City Blues. you should totally go to watch the show. The link's down below. Maybe you should go check that out. With all that being said, I love you guys, and I will see you on the internet. Goodbye!